It is my favorite time of the year. It is officially vision board season, and this is my third year building a vision board using Canva. Vision boards are a ritual that I look forward to every year because these boards genuinely help me stay focused and aligned on my goals throughout the whole year. I like to print mine, post it somewhere that I can see daily, and my vision board from last year really worked. So I'm so excited to show you guys how to make the best vision board to actually achieve your dreams. One of my biggest goals for this year is to quit my 9-to-5. It is Q4, you guys, and I'm reared up and I'm revved up and I'm ready to go in terms of quitting. I've got a few months saved up, so December 31st is looking like the biggest goal of my year is on track to be achieved. But one of my goals for 2026 is to really bloom into becoming a full-time content creator, business owner, and trader. But something I've learned over the past year is that you cannot build a sustainable, reliable creator career just through social media. Social media is amazing for reach, but it's not something you own. And if I want long-term income, digital products, brand trust, and a community that grows with me, I need a platform that I control. That's why Brevo is such a great tool. It's beginner-friendly, free to start, and lets you do everything in one place. From creating sign-up forms to sending newsletters, segmenting your audience, and setting up simple automations to make things as easy as possible. It aligns perfectly with my 2026 pillars because it's gonna help me build ownership, a deeper community, and systems, especially automated systems, that support the future that I'm working towards. So while this vision board is gonna help to keep me aligned on my big picture dreams, Brevo is gonna be one of the tools to help me get there step by step. If you own a business or you're on social media and you wanna start building your own list for 2026, the link is in my description. And you can use the code Keeks to get 50% off for the first 3 months, so go check it out. Now, first, let's get into intention setting. Now, before we open up the Pinterest or the Canva, we need to get super crystal clear about our intention for 2026. I think people have an idea of the big goals that they want or the general pillars that they want, but a lot of people skip this because it does require a little bit of time for you to look intrinsically and inwards and figure out what is motivating you for the new year, what's really important for you for the new year, and what you want to focus on. So do not skip this part, okay? You can't build a meaningful vision board if you don't know what you want or why you want it. Whenever I'm getting into this part, I like to pull out a journal. I have this scrapbook that I just literally write any and everything in. So you can do this, you can open up your memo pads on your iPhone, whatever feels most comfortable to you, but take some time, pause this video, and really get specific about what it is you want in the new year. It doesn't have to be clean, just brain dump what you want. Take your time, get your paper, start writing, start scribbling, and we'll meet back here for part 2. Part 2 is that we're gonna take all of that brain dump, all that word vomit that you put onto the page or your notes, and we're gonna organize all of those thoughts and notes into your 2026 pillars. Now, this phase is about finding the commonalities. Maybe you're repeating something over and over again, or certain goals that you set on that page have an overarching theme. So some examples of pillars that you might be seeing show up in your notes are travel, financial freedom, good health, entrepreneurship, oh my God, love. Another tip I wanted to give is if you've got a whole bunch of stuff, taking a photo, if you're like me and you scribbled, taking a photo, putting it into ChatGPT and saying, can you find the common pillars from the goals that I wrote down? Or if you put this on your notes, literally copy and pasting into ChatGPT and saying, can you find the general themes or pillars for my 2026 vision board based on the notes that I put? That will clean up everything for you and maybe give you a perspective that's like, oh yeah, I didn't really realize that maybe health is my #1 goal for 2026. Or I'm working with you guys and I did some scribbling, but I never put love. I put like self-love. So I technically have a pillar of love, but I didn't put like any romance. Maybe I will, I don't know, I'm nervous. The next step we're gonna get into is what I would argue to be the most important differentiator between a vision board that actually sees you completing and achieving your goals and a vision board that just sits on your wall and collects dust. It is not the big dream that creates your future. It is these small mini steps that you take every day to get yourself from point A to achieving said goal. Now that you've got your pillars, you can see the goals that you have underneath each pillar. What you're gonna do at this point is take each goal under the pillar and write down the actionable steps that you can take to get to that goal. These are the steps that you can do consistently, not once a year, but perhaps once a week. Because manifesting isn't magic, it's momentum. And having a vision board that represents the momentum and the steps you're gonna take will be so much more powerful than just having this end end goal that almost feels unattainable because it's such a big dream. In fact, in terms of a ratio, you want about 20% of your vision board to consist of the end of the year goal or the big goal that you want to achieve throughout the year, and 80% of your vision board to consist of these small actionable steps, the things you're going to do every day, every week. That's the stuff you want to see and create that visual connection with, because it's going to remind you both consciously and subconsciously that you can do this. You might not know exactly how you're going to get the six-pack abs, but you do know what walking 30 minutes a day looks like. Big goals don't tell your brain what to do, but micro steps give your brain something that it can act on. And it's this action that changes your vision board from being just a mood board to becoming an actual roadmap to completing and achieving your goals. All right, now that you've created the micro steps that it's going to take for you to achieve your goals, you are ready to do the fun part, the exciting part, one of my favorite parts. And that is hopping on Pinterest and getting the visuals that match your micro steps and your big goals. Now, if you haven't heard of Pinterest, I am so happy to be the one to introduce you to it. It is literally one of my favorite apps. It is just so wholesome. Pinterest functions like a digital pin board where users collect visual content called pins and organize them into their own boards. So you can find and save ideas for projects, get inspiration for your vision board. I literally use it for everything. So it's such a perfect app to take your ideas from being stuck in the brain or on paper to giving you a visual reference and cue to go by. The way we're going to use it for your vision board is to start looking for pictures that represent these small actions that you're taking. I've already got my 2026 vision board started. So you're going to do exactly what I've been working on and start looking at the micro steps that you wrote down and finding pictures that represent those micro steps. This could take you anywhere from honestly 20 minutes to an hour, depending on how much effort you want to put into it, depending on how easy or difficult it is for you to really get a vision and find it. But the best part about this is it's creative freedom. So just go crazy, save everything to your board, because once you do, we can move on to the next step. Enjoy your Pinterest scrolling and meet me back here when you're done. Now that you have spent some time on Pinterest and you've collected all of the photos that are representative of the micro steps you want to take, it is time to build your vision board on Canva. I love Canva because it's free. I also love it because it is super easy to create the vision board, edit. The user interface is very easy to use. And then lastly, it is a one-stop shop. So as soon as I have a vision board that I feel happy with, I can actually order the print through the platform. It's super easy. Not only that, the shipping is so fast. I usually get it the next day. Before we actually create the board in Canva, one thing I want to do is get all of my images from Pinterest onto my computer. My laptop is where I build my Canva board. I cannot build my Canva board on mobile because I have giant fingers. Doing stuff on a little screen that is my phone is so uncomfortable and will just make me upset, if I'm honest with you. So I go through the extra step of getting everything onto my computer and then literally taking it from there. Now the good thing is you can do it in two ways. I've got my Pinterest board. I can go from my phone, screenshot, airdrop them to my MacBook, or because Pinterest also has a website, you can go on your computer, open up Canva, open up Pinterest, and take screenshots from there and drag them into a folder. Whichever is easiest for you, go ahead and do that now, and then we're gonna jump into Canva and start putting our vision board together. Once you've got your images on your folder in your computer or on your phone, wherever you're gonna be accessing them, now you are good to go and create your vision board. So I'm gonna bring you guys into Canva and show you sort of live action how I would find a vision board template or create one from scratch. So let's hop in there now. Now this is the homepage for Canva. Again, it's super cutesy, super adorbs. And what I'm gonna be looking for is a template. So when I go in here, I'm just gonna search vision board. And as you can see, a bunch of vision boards come up. The reason I love vision boards is because it is your thing. Whatever you see here does not have to be followed. And if I'm being honest, I don't even follow them. But I do like to look every now and then, like maybe you're someone who wants to have something really aesthetic. So you want to go for something that's got a kind of theme, or you're someone who likes a bit more of a messy look, or you like the scrapbook look. You can go through and look for any of the ones that speak to you as a template, or you can do what I do and do it from scratch. Take some time to look for a template or decide if you're going to just go with a blank board. But another thing I want to flag is, as you can see here, they have horizontal templates, but they also have vertical templates. So if you're someone who's like, I'm not going to print my vision board, but I would love to have it as a phone wallpaper, you can do a vertical vision board and literally take that image, save it as your phone wallpaper, and see it literally every day that you log into your phone. So there is a lot of flexibility in how you want to create your vision board. This is very carte blanche and up to you. So these are really cute, but I am a messy girl. I like to just throw it in there and move things around and see how I feel. So I'll show you guys a little bit of my process. Now, because I'm someone who likes to build my vision board from scratch, the only thing I do is set up these little templates for myself. So I quite literally just added some shapes in, because depending on how many pillars I have, I like to organize by section. I kind of like to create a map before I start laying down my photos. So just some quick guide templates for you guys if you're wondering how you should lay out all of these photos and you don't necessarily want to use one of the templates. One thing I like to do, I do either a quadrant sort of vibe. So I would be like, okay, major pillar, major pillar, major pillar, and my smaller pillars can go in here, and maybe the major visual goal that I want to be dead in the center, and I usually cover that by the number that is the year. So in this case it'd be 2026. Another thing you can do is columns. So if you've got multiple goals, you can use them in strips. So this is my 1 pillar, 2, 3, 4. When you get to the point of actually adding the photos, they will overlap, but that's what makes that vision board look so perfect, if you ask me. So this is another format you could follow. If you're someone who more wants like clusters, you can do circles as your guide to really get the goals smashed in there, and then fill the blank space with the little things that are not maybe giant pillars for you, but that you still want to have a visual representation of. So again, it is carte blanche. I literally just threw these up here, and you can keep them as you work on your vision board, because once you add the photos, you'll actually be covering these. So you don't even have to delete them before you work on your vision board. So I'll leave you guys to figure out if you want to use your template or if you want to create it on your own. But if you do want to create it on your own, I'm just going to take you guys through a quick demonstration of like what it's going to look like for me to flesh out my 2026 board. It will not get finished, but I will show you guys my previous finished products at the end of this. So what I would be doing is what I've done so far, which I've compiled photos and screenshots from my Pinterest board that I want to make sure I get onto my vision board. Perfect. So as you guys can see here, all I'm doing is literally taking my folder and dragging and dropping them into their sections. So it is a very just rough and tumble exercise at first, because one thing I want to do is just see how much content I have in each area, and from there I start to do like a little move around, see what I really want to show up. Maybe this comes in front and I want that to be at the very front so I can see. One thing I want to do is build community, so I took literally a screenshot of someone giving me such a sweet message and put it on here, because that feeling that I felt when I read that message is exactly how I want to feel through whatever it is that I'm doing. I want to create that feeling in myself and in other people. So that's something that's going on my vision board. They don't all have to be images. So like here you guys see my businesses are thriving and growing. Take little quotes that speak to whatever your mini actions or your big goals are, and literally just have fun, throw it all together and turn it into something that feels like you and that you're excited to look at every single day, because you want to make something that you're going to look at every day. Some people are very aesthetic. To me, the thing that makes me happiest is when it's messy. Like I love just, it almost feels like Where's Waldo, where I'm like, I have to look closer because everything's not in an aesthetic spot. I have to just like really stare at my vision board and be like, oh yeah, I put that in there. It's like a fun experience for me to have it just look like a literal dump from my brain and my heart and my goals onto a paper. So take your creative liberties, make it cute, make it ugly, make it whatever you want, but just make sure that your ratio is about 80% of the small actions and steps that you need to take and 20% of the big goals that you'll have. I have just literally a vision board project, and every year that I go to create a vision board on Canva, I just go in the same project. So as you guys can see here, this was my 2024 vision board. She was cute, but she was not as successful as my 2025 vision board. I'm gonna show you the 2025 version and you guys tell me if you can see the difference. So here's our 2024 and here's our 2025. Now, I know what you guys might be thinking, this is ugly, but this works. The main difference between 2024 and 2025 was in 2024, I was doing the mood board and I was doing aesthetics, and I was like, look, 100,000 YouTube subscribers, I'm gonna be on Forbes 30 under 30. I just had really big goals, and all of the images showed the end result of having those huge goals. So it didn't really keep me as motivated, because I guess my brain could not connect how to actually get to these Forbes 30 under 30 or 100,000 YouTube subscribers. So in 2025, I rejigged it. I unlearned everything I thought I knew, and I went down to the small actions. This is where the magic happened. Now I had the small actions that I knew I needed to take. For example, consistency. I want to post weekly on YouTube. So having something that showed that's a visual that I can see when I go into my YouTube studio dashboard was so helpful to me, and I've actually accomplished in being consistent throughout this year, and I'm super proud of that. Even if I didn't post every week, I for certain and for sure posted every single month, and that is more consistent than I've ever been on YouTube since starting it. We've got editing. So editing my YouTube videos, that's a huge thing. Instead of the 100,000 subscriber plaque, I have the notification for when I hit 1,000 subscribers on my vision board. And guess what your girl did this year? She hit 1,000 subscribers! I got a screenshot of an email saying that I monetize and have been accepted into the YouTube partner program. 100,000 subscribers might not be the next step, but the next step is 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 watch hours. So that's what I wanted to show. And guess what? Your girl hit the YouTube partner program. She got the 4,000 watch hours too. I still threw in some of the big goals, such as the 100K cake, but most of my board that you guys see is the small actions. Waking up at 4 a.m., doing the video editing, setting up a calendar for myself and having a schedule, sitting at the table and putting in the work and the effort to get things done. Aw, look at this. Request paid brand deal. We hit that too, you guys. Oh my. This literal vision board was such a huge improvement from my 2024 version, and it's because I started showing the little steps that it was going to take for me to get to my goal. This year, my 2026 vision board is going to be even better than this, because I've really narrowed down my goals and I really know what I want and have so much conviction behind them. So I'm excited to create my 2026 one. You won't see the finished product of my 2026 on here because I do not want to bore you guys to death, but at least you have an idea of what the finished product looks like. All right, once you feel like you have a vision board that represents the next level version of you for 2026, it's time to export it and create your final copy. I showed you guys my previous vision board, so I'm gonna use my 2025 vision board as an example. As I told you guys, I like to print mine, but you do have a few options when it comes to exporting your vision board. So if you go in the top right section here and go to share, the options you have are in this bottom section. You can also download it as a photo or a PDF. Maybe you just want a photo of it so you can save it as your MacBook wallpaper. That's something I definitely do. Or if you did a vertical sort of phone wallpaper version, just taking the PNG, saving it, and then getting it as your wallpaper, that's an option for you. If you are someone who likes to print it because you want that physical copy, then you will go over to the print with Canva section. You can type poster here and it will show you all the poster options that you have. I don't care about double-sided. I know I'm putting this against a wall and I know I want this in a landscape shape. So I will be clicking posters landscape. From there, it'll open up something that is resized and formatted in the size of the actual poster. From this point, I can actually see what my printout is gonna look like. The way I filled it out, I actually still have some dead space. So I had two options. I could fill out the whole area and get the full print's worth, or I could just get this print and cut the edges off. I was lazy. I decided to order it and print it out as it was. And as you guys can see the steps here, when we go to print, you can select which page. So if I wanted to print out my 2024 vision board, that's what I would have done here. By 2025, same thing. You can print it in a certain size, so that will give you the sizing of it. 16 by 12 inches is a pretty decent size. They've also got 24 by 18 and 28 by 21. When I did my 2024 vision board, I did a very large size and I also got it framed. Not necessary. I would go with small. I can choose a black frame, a white frame, a wood grain frame. I'm going with no frame, and you can even choose the poster type. So all of these things will determine the pricing. So I'm gonna go with the gloss, and as you can see, a huge price difference. Happiness guarantee, great. boards. And from that point, once I've chosen the finish and how many that I want and the sizing, I'll have my total. So you'll see here for the size that I want, it's $14.50. The delivery is free. I simply need to continue and check out. Now I will show you guys what it actually looks like because of course I have my vision board. So let me go and show you guys the finished product. All right, we are in my office where I like to put my vision board. As you can see, it's like grown into like a mural because I've created other things. I did a workshop where we created these like collages, which I absolutely love, so that goes there, and I just sort of like add to it. You can see the printout. It is such a nice like glossy quality, and I even edited certain things. I put my own face on stuff. I put like level up with Keeks, really shoddy, but put that in there. Stuff that I like that I feel like will keep me motivated and remind me of the bigger picture is all of the stuff that I sort of use in this area. And because I did my 2024, I'll show you what my 2024 girl looks like, because she wasn't the best made, but she was super cute and I was like, no, I can't get rid of her. So this is what the girl looks like. I just use this as sort of like a mural now because it is still a long-term goal and has stuff that is really down the line. I still want to be Forbes 30 under 30, so I'm like, no, I'm keeping this. And as I accomplish other things I like to put, so if I run a 10K, I ran my half marathon, I ran a 5K, put my medals, other things that are like long-term, like just me living life, I like to put in here, and she's in my closet. So there's still goals I want to achieve on there, but now that I know how to make a vision board properly, it's made such a world of difference. But yeah, that's it. Whether you've printed it, saved it as an image, use it as a phone wallpaper or your MacBook wallpaper, put your vision board both digitally and physically in places that you can see it as much as possible. Looking at this thing every day is going to keep you motivated and keep showing your brain what it needs to do to help you achieve your goals. If you create your 2026 vision board using Canva, comment below, let me know how the experience was, let me know if you love it, and if you want to share it, please head over to the community tab on my YouTube channel. I would love to see you guys' vision boards, and I will 100% be sharing mine as soon as it's ready. My issue is I always have 500 photos, and then it's like, how do I cram everything onto this vision board? I just have fun. The process is so fun for me, and I really like to take my time. So as soon as mine's ready, I will definitely be posting it. And if you guys create yours, head over to my community channel, share a picture of it, let me know what your goals are, because I, for one, will be rooting for you. And if you're building a brand, a business, or want to set up a foundation for your content creation, definitely check out Brevo and use my code Keeks to get 50% off the first 3 months. Other than that, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and cheers to alignment, elevation, and becoming the version of ourselves that we see on these vision boards. Love you. Bye.